Jake Miller stood in the long line at the community center, sweating even though the air was cool. Today was pairing day. Every human on Earth between 25 and 30 had to be here. The Galactic Alliance said it was for peace between all the different alien races in space. Jake was 28 and worked fixing broken machines in the city. He lived alone in a small apartment and liked quiet things. His job was not exciting, but it paid the bills. He had no idea why aliens would want to live with humans like him. "Next," called the woman at the desk. She had blue skin and 4 arms. Jake had never seen an alien before today, but now they were everywhere. His friend Alex walked up to the desk first. Alex was nervous too, but he was trying to smile. The blue alien lady pressed some buttons on a strange device. A screen showed Alex's name, then showed another name. Lily of the Verdanian Garden Worlds. A small, pretty alien stepped forward. She looked like a human woman, but her skin was light green and she had flowers growing in her hair. She smelled like roses and spoke in a soft voice. "Hello, Alex. I grow beautiful plants and love peaceful things. We will have a wonderful time together." Alex looked happy. The green alien took his hand gently and they walked away together. "Next," the blue alien called again. Jake's friend Ben went up to the desk. The machine beeped and showed his match. Scholar Naya of the Aquarian Research Centers. A tall, thin alien came forward. She looked like she was made of water, but she could walk and talk like anyone else. She carried books under her arm. "I study the stars and love to read," she said to Ben. "We can learn many things together." Ben grinned. He loved books too. They walked away talking about science. Jake watched as his neighbor Carlos got matched with a being made of living crystal. The crystal alien spoke in musical tones and talked about finding inner peace. Carlos looked calm and happy. Everyone was getting nice, peaceful aliens. Jake started to feel better. Maybe this would not be so bad. Next, Jake walked up to the desk. His hands were shaking a little. The blue alien pressed the buttons on her machine. The screen showed his name. Then it showed Princess Zarath of the Drakmori warrior empire. The blue alien's 4 eyes went wide. She pressed the buttons again. The same name appeared. The blue alien said. There might be a small problem. The floor shook. Heavy footsteps came from the waiting area. Other aliens started backing away from something. Jake turned around. A huge figure walked toward him. She was 7 feet tall with red skin like blood. Her arms and legs were covered in muscles. Scars crossed her face and arms. Her eyes glowed yellow like fire. She wore black armor that looked like it could stop bullets. Weapons hung from her belt and back. She stopped in front of Jake and looked down at him. Jake had to bend his neck back to see her face. His mouth fell open. "You are Jake Miller?" Her voice was deep and rough. Jake could not speak. He just nodded. "I am Princess Zarath. The machine says you are my mate now." She looked him up and down like she was thinking about eating him. "You are very small. And soft-looking. Are you sure you are a warrior?" I fix machines," Jake said in a tiny voice. Zarath made a sound that might have been laughing, but it sounded more like growling. "Machines? Not enemies in battle?" "No enemies. Just broken air conditioners, mostly." The blue alien at the desk was pressing buttons very fast. "There has been an error in the system. Mr. Miller was supposed to get gentle reader Toma from the peaceful library worlds. But the computer will not let me change it. Once the pairing is made, it cannot be undone due to diplomatic rules." "Diplomatic rules?" Jake asked. A new alien came over. This one wore fancy clothes and had important-looking badges. "I am Administrator Kelv of the Galactic Council. The pairing system uses very complex math to match species. Once it makes a choice, changing it could cause problems with peace treaties between worlds. I am sorry, but you two are now officially paired." Zarath stepped closer to Jake. He could feel heat coming from her body. "Good, the machine has spoken. Jake Miller, you are now my mate. Come, we will go to your home and I will see if it is fit for a warrior to live in." "Wait," Jake said. "Don't I get a choice?" Zarath showed her teeth. They were very sharp. "The choice has been made. You belong to me now. I will train you to be strong. Maybe you will not die in your first real fight." Jake looked around for help. Alex was gone with his flower alien. Ben had left with his water alien. Carlos was already walking out with his crystal alien. Everyone else was staying far away from Zarath. "My apartment is very small," Jake said. "Then we will make it bigger," Zarath said, "or stronger. Weak places make weak warriors. She picked up Jake's paperwork from the desk with one hand. Her other hand grabbed Jake's arm, but not hard enough to hurt him. Jake was surprised that someone so scary could be gentle. Come, small mate. We have much work to do. First, I must see your weapons. I don't have weapons. Zareth stopped walking. No weapons? How do you protect yourself? I call the police. And who are these police? Your warrior clan. It's complicated. Zareth shook her head. Humans are very strange. The story said you were great fighters, but you seem more like a small animal that needs protection. They walked out of the community center together. Jake felt like his life had just turned upside down. This morning he had been worried about having to talk to a quiet alien librarian. Now he was paired with someone who looked like she could fight a tank and win. As they got to Jake's car, Zareth stopped. This is your vehicle? It is very small and weak-looking. It gets me to work. We will need something bigger, with armor and weapons. Jake got in his car and started it. Zareth squeezed into the passenger seat. Her knees were almost touching her chin. This is uncomfortable, she said. Tomorrow we get a war machine. Jake drove toward his apartment, wondering what he had gotten himself into. In the back seat, he could see Zareth's weapons reflecting the sunlight. His quiet life was definitely over. Jake woke up to loud crashing sounds. His alarm clock said 5 in the morning. He rolled out of bed and ran to his living room. Zareth was moving all his furniture around. She had pushed his couch against the wall and was dragging his coffee table to the kitchen. Her huge sword was cutting deep marks in his wooden floor. What are you doing? Jake asked. Making space for morning combat practice, Zareth said. She was not even breathing hard. A warrior must train every day or become weak. She picked up Jake's television with one hand and looked around for somewhere to put it. The TV was bigger than Jake's torso, but she held it like it weighed nothing. Please be careful with that, Jake said. It cost me 3 months of pay. Why do you need this box? I watch shows on it, news, movies. Zareth set the TV down on top of his refrigerator. Entertainment makes warriors soft. You will not need it anymore. She pulled out her sword and started swinging it around the room. The blade made whooshing sounds as it cut through the air. Jake pressed himself against the wall. You could hurt someone with that thing, he said. That is the point of a sword, Zareth replied. She did a spinning move that made Jake dizzy to watch. Now we practice. Pick up a weapon. I don't have weapons. Zareth stopped and stared at him. Still no weapons? What did you do yesterday after I told you to get some? I went to work. Then I bought groceries. Normal things. Normal? Zareth shook her head. There is nothing normal about a warrior with no weapons. We will fix this problem today. Someone knocked on the door. Jake opened it and saw his neighbor, Mrs. Peterson. She was holding her small white dog and looking angry. Jake, what is all that noise? It's 5 in the morning and I can't sleep. Zareth appeared behind Jake. Mrs. Peterson's dog started barking very loud and tried to hide in her arms. Who dares to complain about warrior training? Zareth asked. Mrs. Peterson's face went white. I just wanted... You challenge me? Zareth stepped forward. Very well. I accept your challenge to single combat. No. Jake jumped between them. Mrs. Peterson, this is Zareth. She's my alien mate from the pairing program. Zareth, Mrs. Peterson is my neighbor. We don't fight neighbors. Why not? If they are weak, fighting them will make them stronger. Mrs. Peterson ran back to her apartment. Her dog was still barking. Jake closed the door and looked at Zareth. You can't threaten people. There are rules here. What rules? Like, don't be loud in the morning. Don't carry weapons in the hallway. Don't challenge old ladies to fights. Zareth sat down on Jake's couch. The couch made cracking sounds under her weight. These are strange rules. How do humans get strong if they cannot fight? We go to gyms. We play sports. Show me these gyms. That afternoon, Jake took Zareth to his gym. It was a small place with some weight machines and treadmills. Zareth looked around and frowned. This is not a training ground. This is a playground for children. She walked over to the heaviest weights. The biggest man in the gym was lifting 200 pounds. Zareth picked up 400 pounds with one hand. Hey, the man said. You can't just take our weights. I need real training tools, Zareth said. She started lifting the weights over her head. These are too light. The whole gym stopped to watch. Zareth was lifting more weight than Jake thought was possible. The manager came over looking worried. Ma'am, you need to sign a waiver before using the equipment. Zareth set down the weights. I need no permission to train my body for war. War? The manager asked. Jake grabbed Zareth's arm. We should go. They left the gym with everyone staring at them. In the parking lot, Zareth looked disappointed. Your people are very weak, Jake. How did humans get a reputation as great warriors? What reputation? In the galaxy, everyone knows humans are dangerous fighters. That is why they paired me with a human, to see if the stories are true. Jake felt confused. He had never heard any stories about humans being fighters. But before he could ask more questions, his phone rang. It was his friend Alex. Jake, you have to come see this. Lily made the most amazing garden on my balcony. It's like paradise. Jake and Zareth drove to Alex's apartment. When they got there, Jake could smell flowers from the parking lot. Alex's balcony was covered in beautiful plants with colors Jake had never seen before. Lily was watering them with a device that looked like magic. This is wonderful, Alex said. He looked happier than Jake had ever seen him. Lily knows everything about plants. She's teaching me to grow food that tastes better than anything on Earth. Lily smiled at Jake and Zareth. Hello, would you like to try some moonberries? They are very sweet. Zareth looked at the tiny purple berries. What do they do? Make you stronger? Better in battle? They just taste good, Lily said. Useless, Zareth said, but she tried one anyway. Her eyes went wide. These are pleasant. They visited Ben next. His apartment was full of books and strange alien devices. Naya was showing him how to use a telescope that could see other star systems. Look at this, Jake, Ben said, pointing at a screen. We can watch storms on planets 1,000 light years away. Naya knows about civilizations we never dreamed of. Naya showed them pictures of cities under the ocean and forests made of crystal. Your friend Ben is very smart. He asks questions I have never thought of. Even Carlos seemed happy with his crystal alien mate. Her name was Song, and she spoke in musical notes that somehow made words. She was teaching Carlos meditation techniques that made him glow with a soft light. I feel more peaceful than ever before, Carlos told Jake. Song showed me how to find calm in my mind. On the way home, Jake felt jealous. His friends all had mates who were teaching them wonderful things. Zareth was just teaching him to be afraid of furniture breaking. Your friends have good fortune, Zareth said as they walked up the stairs to Jake's apartment. Yeah, they got normal aliens. Nice ones. Zareth stopped walking. You think I'm not nice? Jake looked at her. In the hallway light, her red skin looked darker and her scars seemed deeper. You're different. Different bad or different good? Jake thought about it. I don't know yet. When they got to his apartment, there were 3 more aliens waiting by his door. They all looked like Zareth, but smaller. They wore armor and carried weapons. When they saw Zareth, they made excited sounds in a language Jake did not understand. My sisters, Zareth said. They came to meet my new mate. The 3 alien women looked at Jake like he was a strange animal. One of them poked his arm with her finger. This is the human warrior? She asked in English. He looks breakable. I am training him, Zareth said. He will get stronger. Another sister walked around Jake, studying him. I heard humans can survive anything, that they never give up fighting. But this one looks like he would run from a shadow. Jake felt his face get hot. I'm standing right here. The third sister laughed. He speaks. Maybe there is some fire in him after all. Zareth opened Jake's door. Come, sisters. We will stay here tonight and test my mate's warrior spirit. Jake followed them into his apartment. His quiet life was getting louder by the hour. Jake woke up on his own couch. Zareth and her 3 sisters had taken over his bedroom for their war council. He could hear them talking in their alien language through the thin walls. His phone was ringing. Jake picked it up without looking at who was calling. Hello, Mr. Miller. This is Dr. Lisa Park from the Galactic Research Division. We need to speak with you urgently. Jake sat up. Is this about Zareth? Did I do something wrong? Not wrong, exactly. Could you meet us at the community center in 1 hour? Come alone if possible. Jake looked toward his bedroom. Loud laughing was coming from inside. I'll try. He got dressed quietly and wrote a note for Zareth. Then he snuck out of his apartment like a teenager avoiding his parents. At the community center, Dr. Park was waiting with 2 other humans and 1 alien Jake had never seen before. Dr. Park was a woman with short brown hair and kind eyes. She looked tired. Mr. Miller, thank you for coming. Please sit down. Jake sat in a plastic chair. Am I in trouble? No, but we need to explain something important. The pairing between you and Princess Zareth was not an accident. Jake felt his stomach drop. What do you mean? Dr. Park pulled out a thick folder. The Galactic Alliance has been studying humans for 50 years. We discovered something that most humans don't know about themselves. She opened the folder and showed Jake pictures. One showed a human woman lifting a car off a trapped child. Another showed a man walking across a frozen wasteland to get help for his team. A third showed people working together to build a shelter after their city was destroyed. Humans do things that other species consider impossible, Dr. Park said. You survive in conditions that would kill most aliens. You solve problems in ways that seem crazy but somehow work, and you have an amazing ability to connect with even the most dangerous creatures. I don't understand. The alien with Dr. Park spoke up. He looked like a tall gray stick with big black eyes. My people study behavior across the galaxy. In our research, humans score highest in 3 areas: adaptability, creative problem solving, and what you call not giving up. Dr. Park nodded. Most species in the galaxy are very specialized. They're good at 1 or 2 things, but humans are good at everything, even if you're not the best at anything specific. What does this have to do with Zarath? Princess Zarath is the most dangerous warrior in 3 star systems. Her people are afraid she might start wars just because she's bored. The Galactic Council hoped that a human mate might help her find better ways to use her fighting skills. Jake laughed, but it sounded bitter. Have you met me? I can barely change a light bulb without breaking something. That's exactly why we picked you, Dr. Park said. You're not a soldier or a fighter. You're just a regular person who fixes things when they break. And that's a very human skill. Jake drove home feeling more confused than ever. When he got to his apartment building, he saw smoke coming from his window. He ran up the stairs 3 at a time. His front door was hanging off its hinges. Inside, his living room was full of smoke and broken pieces of alien technology. Zarath and her sisters were standing around something that looked like it had exploded. What happened? Jake asked. Training accident, Zarath said. She looked embarrassed. My sister Kayla was showing off her new plasma weapon. It had a malfunction. Jake looked around his apartment. The explosion had damaged his electrical panel. Sparks were coming from the wall outlet. The lights were flickering and he could smell something burning inside the walls. Everyone stay back, Jake said. He went to his toolbox and pulled out his electrical tester and some wire. The whole building could catch fire if I don't fix this. Zarath watched as Jake opened the electrical panel. You know how to repair this? It's just basic wiring, Jake said. He started pulling out damaged cables and replacing them with spare parts from his maintenance kit. The plasma blast overloaded the circuits, but the main lines are okay. The 3 sisters gathered around to watch. Jake worked quickly, connecting new wires and testing each connection. Within 20 minutes, the lights stopped flickering and the burning smell went away. How did you know how to do that? Kayla asked. I fix things for a living, Jake said. This is just bigger than usual. Zarath was staring at him with a strange expression. You were not afraid of the electricity? Why would I be afraid? It's just power flowing through metal. You just have to respect it and know what you're doing. Electricity can kill you. So can a lot of things. Cars, ladders, spoiled food. You learn to be careful. Zarath's youngest sister, Vera, touched Jake's arm. Show us more human skills. For the next hour, Jake found himself demonstrating ordinary things that seemed to fascinate the alien warriors. He showed them how to use duct tape to fix almost anything. He explained how to stop a leaky pipe with materials from the kitchen. He even showed them how to jumpstart a car battery. Humans make tools from anything, Kayla said with respect. This is true warrior thinking. It's not warrior thinking, Jake said. It's just being practical. Same thing, Zarath said quietly. That evening, Jake's phone rang. It was Alex, and he sounded scared. Jake, something terrible happened. Lily is gone. What do you mean gone? Some aliens came to the apartment. They had weapons, and they took her. They said something about the pairing program being a mistake that needed to be fixed. Jake felt anger building in his chest. Where are you now? At Ben's place with Carlos. All our mates are here except Lily. Ben's mate Naya says the aliens were from a group that wants to stop the pairing program. We're coming over. Jake hung up and turned to Zarath. My friend's mate has been kidnapped. Zarath's eyes started glowing brighter. Kidnapped? Who would dare? I don't know, but we need to help. Zarath stood up and reached for her weapons. Yes, we will find these criminals and make them pay. Wait, Jake said. We need a plan first. The plan is simple. Find enemies. Fight enemies. Win. Jake thought about what Dr. Park had told him. Humans were good at solving problems in unusual ways. Maybe it was time to prove that. No, Jake said. We need a better plan than that. Zareth looked surprised. It was the first time Jake had disagreed with her about fighting. What do you suggest, mate? Jake smiled. For the first time since meeting Zareth, he felt like he knew what to do. We're going to rescue Lily, but we're going to do it the human way. Zareth grinned, showing all her sharp teeth. Tell me about this human way. Jake started planning, and for the first time, Zareth listened to him like he was the expert. Jake stood in Ben's living room looking at the strangest rescue team he could imagine. Zareth and her 3 sisters checked their weapons and armor. Alex paced back and forth, wringing his hands. Ben was typing frantically on his laptop while his water alien mate Naya helped him. Carlos sat in meditation pose with his crystal mate Song, who was humming softly. The kidnappers took Lily to the old asteroid mining station in space, Naya said, reading from her alien computer. It has been empty for 10 years, but someone is using it now. How do we get there? Jake asked. Zareth pointed out the window. My family's ship is waiting in your parking lot. Jake looked outside. A huge black spacecraft was sitting between 2 Honda Civics. It had weapons pointing in every direction and looked like it could destroy a city block. The neighbors are going to complain, Jake said. Let them complain to my sisters, Zareth replied. 20 minutes later, they were all strapped into seats inside the alien ship. Jake had never been in space before. His stomach felt strange as they lifted off from Earth. First time flying? Kala asked from the pilot seat. Yeah. Is it always this bumpy? We are not being bumpy. You are just soft, Vera laughed. Jake looked around at his friends. Alex was gripping his seat so tight his knuckles were white. Ben was asking Naya a million questions about space travel. Carlos looked calm, but Song was glowing brighter than usual, which seemed to mean she was worried. Tell me about the plan again, Zareth said. Jake pulled out the drawings he had made on napkins. The mining station has 3 levels. The kidnappers will probably keep Lily in the center level where it's hardest to reach, but they'll expect us to attack the main entrance. So we do not attack the main entrance? Right. Ben found the old blueprints for the station. There are maintenance tunnels that connect to the air system. Alex and I can crawl through them and get inside without being seen. Zareth frowned. This seems like hiding instead of fighting. Sometimes hiding is smarter than fighting, Jake said. Once Alex and I are inside, we create distractions. Explosions, power failures, things that make the kidnappers confused. While they're trying to figure out what's happening, you and your sisters attack the main entrance. Now that sounds like a proper battle, Kayla said happily. What about us? Ben asked. What do Naya and Song and I do? You stay with the ship and be our communications center. If something goes wrong, you call for help. Carlos spoke up for the first time. Song says she can sense Lily's location if we get close enough. Her meditation skills work across space. Perfect, Jake said. We'll use that to find exactly where they're keeping her. 2 hours later, they reached the asteroid mining station. It was a huge metal structure built into a floating rock. Most of the lights were off, but Jake could see some areas that looked active. Song closed her crystal eyes and hummed. After a few minutes, she opened them and pointed. Lily is there in the middle section. She is scared but not hurt. How many kidnappers? Zareth asked. Song concentrated again. I sense 12 minds, all angry and determined. 12 against 7, Vera said. Good odds. 12 against 2, Jake corrected. The rest of us aren't fighters. Alex looked up from his seat. I want to help rescue Lily. She's been teaching me so much about growing things. I can't just sit here. And I can hack their computer systems, Ben added. If I can get access to their networks, I can cause all kinds of problems. Jake felt proud of his friends. They were scared, but they wanted to help anyway. Okay, Jake said. New plan. Alex and I go through the maintenance tunnels like we planned. Ben, you try to hack their systems from here. Carlos and Song keep monitoring Lily's condition. Zareth and her sisters hit the main entrance hard and loud. What if the tunnels are too small for normal people? Alex asked. Jake had thought about that. Then we make them bigger. I brought some of my tools. They suited up in space gear and took a small shuttle to the mining station. The maintenance airlock was exactly where the blueprint said it would be. Jake used his plasma cutter to open the sealed door. The tunnels inside were dark and cramped. Jake and Alex had to crawl on their hands and knees through spaces barely wide enough for their bodies. The metal was cold even through their spacesuits. This is terrifying, Alex whispered. Just think about Lily, Jake whispered back. She's counting on us. They crawled for what felt like hours. Finally, Jake found an air vent that opened into the main corridor. He could hear voices speaking in an alien language he didn't recognize. Jake's radio crackled. "Jake, this is Ben. I'm in their computer system. Their security cameras are down for the next 5 minutes." "Perfect timing," Jake replied. He opened the vent and dropped down into the corridor. Alex followed him. The hallway was dark except for emergency lighting. Jake pulled out the small explosives he had made from household chemicals and his knowledge of electronics. They weren't dangerous enough to hurt anyone, but they would make a lot of noise and smoke. "Plant these near their power generators," Jake told Alex. "When they go off, the lights will fail and everyone will be confused." Alex took half the devices and ran down the hall. Jake went the other direction, placing his explosives near anything that looked important. His radio crackled again. "Jake, Zareth here. We are ready to attack. Are you in position?" "Give us 2 more minutes," Jake said. He found the main power control room. The door was locked, but Jake had learned a few things about alien technology from watching Zareth repair her weapons. He used his electrical tools to override the lock. Inside, he could see the main power systems for the entire station. Jake smiled. This was going to be easier than he thought. "Alex, get ready," he said into his radio. "Everyone else, start the attack in 30 seconds. Jake started pulling power cables and shorting out circuits. Sparks flew from the control panels. The lights began flickering throughout the station. Then his explosives went off. The whole station shook and emergency alarms started blaring. Through his radio, he could hear the sound of battle as Zareth and her sisters attacked the main entrance. Their war cries echoed through the metal corridors. "Ben, can you open the doors to the prison area?" Jake asked. "Already done. Lily should be able to get out of her cell now." Jake ran through the dark hallways toward the middle section where Song had sensed Lily. The kidnappers were running around in panic, trying to figure out what was happening. In the confusion, they didn't notice one small human in a spacesuit. He found Lily in a locked room, but the door was standing open thanks to Ben's hacking. She was sitting in the corner looking scared but unhurt. "Lily, it's Jake, Alex's friend. We're here to rescue you." Lily's face lit up with relief. "Jake, how did you find me?" "Long story. Can you walk?" "Yes, I think so." Jake helped Lily to her feet. His radio crackled with Zareth's voice. "Jake, we have defeated most of the kidnappers, but their leader is escaping in a small ship." "Let him go," Jake said. "We have what we came for." As they made their way back to the shuttle, Jake felt something he had never felt before. He had planned a rescue mission, and it had worked. His friends had trusted him to lead them, and everyone was safe. Maybe Dr. Park was right about humans after all. Back on Earth, Jake thought their adventure was over. He was wrong. 3 days after rescuing Lily, Dr. Park called him again. This time she sounded very worried. "Jake, we need your help. The kidnapping was just the beginning. We've discovered a much bigger problem." Jake met Dr. Park at a secret government building downtown. She led him to a room full of computers and screens showing space maps. "The aliens who took Lily belong to something called the Separation Alliance," Dr. Park explained. "They want to stop the mate pairing program completely." "Why?" "Because it's working too well." Before the program started, different alien species barely talked to each other. Now they're sharing technology, forming friendships, even falling in love. Some groups don't want that cooperation. Dr. Park showed Jake pictures on her computer. They've been sabotaging other pairing centers across the galaxy. Earth was supposed to be their big target because humans are becoming important bridge builders between species. Bridge builders? Think about what happened during Lily's rescue. Your friends worked with their alien mates as a team. Zareth learned to follow your plans instead of just fighting. You learned to use her warrior skills to support your strategies. That kind of cooperation scares groups that profit from conflict. Jake felt a heavy weight in his stomach. What do they want to do? They're planning to attack the main Galactic Council meeting next week. If they succeed, they'll blame it on failed human-alien partnerships. The pairing program will be shut down forever. Can't the Galactic Council protect itself? Dr. Park shook her head. The attackers know all the standard military tactics. They've stolen advanced weapons from across the galaxy, but they've never faced human-style thinking combined with alien abilities. Jake understood what she was asking. You want us to stop them? You and your friends proved something important during the rescue. Humans work best when we think outside normal rules. And when humans partner with aliens who complement our skills, we become incredibly effective. That evening, Jake called a meeting at his apartment. Everyone came. Alex and Lily, Ben and Naya, Carlos and Song, plus Zareth and her sisters. The Separation Alliance has a huge ship hidden in the asteroid belt, Jake explained. They plan to attack during the peace ceremony where all the alien leaders will be together. Zareth was sharpening her sword while Jake talked. How many enemies? About 200 fighters with military training. Good, my sisters and I have been bored. It's not that simple, Jake said. They have weapons that can destroy entire planets. We can't just fight them directly. Ben looked up from his laptop. I've been studying their ship design. It's built for defense against normal attacks. Heavy armor, energy shields, long-range weapons. What's the weakness? Alex asked. Naya answered. All powerful ships need massive energy cores. If something happened to their power systems, the whole ship would shut down. Ben finished. But getting to the power core would be impossible. It's in the center of the ship, behind layers of security. Jake smiled. Impossible for a normal attack. But what about an impossible attack? He spread out plans he had been drawing. Here's what we're going to do. It's crazy, but crazy might be exactly what we need. The plan was complicated. Zareth and her sisters would attack the outside of the enemy ship, making lots of noise and keeping the defenders busy. While that battle was happening, Jake and his friends would use a small cargo ship to sneak inside through the waste disposal system. Waste disposal? Alex asked. Every ship has to get rid of garbage, Jake explained. The disposal chutes are too small for normal soldiers, but humans can fit. And they're not defended because who would attack through the garbage? Carlos raised his hand. What do Song and I do? You two are the most important part, Jake said. Song can sense the ship's power core location even through metal walls. And your meditation training will help you stay calm while we're sneaking around inside an enemy ship. Lily looked worried. This sounds very dangerous. It is dangerous, Jake admitted. But if we don't stop them, the pairing program ends. No more cooperation between species. No more learning from each other. Alex took Lily's hand. I want to help. Lily has taught me so much about life and growing things. Other humans deserve the chance to learn from aliens, too. Ben nodded. Naya showed me wonders I never imagined. And I've taught her things about human curiosity that surprised her. That's worth fighting for. Carlos and Song hummed together in harmony. We will help, Carlos said. Peace is always worth protecting. Zareth stopped sharpening her sword. Jake, this plan requires trust between all of us. Human thinking, alien abilities, working as one unit. Can we do it? Jake asked. Zareth grinned. 3 weeks ago I thought you were weak. Now I know you are strong in ways I never understood. Yes, we can do it. 2 days later, they were in space again, approaching the massive enemy ship. It was 3 times bigger than anything Jake had ever seen. Covered in weapons and armor plating, remember, Jake said into his radio. Wait for our signal before attacking. He guided their small cargo ship toward the waste disposal area. The entrance was just big enough for their ship to fit through. This is disgusting, Alex said as they crawled through garbage-filled tunnels inside the enemy ship. Stay focused, Jake replied. Song, can you sense the power core? Song's crystal body glowed softly. Yes, down 2 levels toward the center. They crawled through maintenance shafts and empty storage rooms. Ben hacked to door locks as they moved. Carlos kept everyone calm when they heard enemy patrols nearby. Finally, they reached the power core chamber. It was a huge room filled with energy equipment that hummed and sparked with electricity. Ben, can you shut it down? Jake asked. Ben studied the alien controls. Not from here. But if I overload the cooling systems, the core will automatically shut down to prevent explosion. Do it. Ben's fingers flew over the alien keyboards. Naya helped him understand the symbols and systems. Within minutes, warning lights started flashing throughout the ship. Power core entering emergency shutdown, an alien voice announced over the ship's communication system. Jake spoke into his radio. Zareth now. Hit them hard. Through the walls, they could hear the sounds of battle, as Zareth and her sisters attacked the now defenseless ship. Without power for weapons or shields, the enemy couldn't fight back effectively. We did it, Alex said, grinning. But Jake heard footsteps in the corridor outside. Not yet. Someone's coming. The door burst open and 6 armed aliens rushed in. They wore black armor and carried weapons that glowed with dangerous energy. Surrender, humans, their leader shouted. Jake looked at his friends. Alex was holding Lily protectively. Ben and Naya were backing away from the aliens. Carlos and Song stood together, ready to face whatever came. Then Jake realized something. He wasn't afraid anymore. "No," Jake said calmly. "You surrender." The alien leader laughed. "You are 4 humans and 3 peaceful aliens. We are trained soldiers." "You're right," Jake said. "But you made one mistake." "What mistake?" Jake smiled. "You assumed we came alone." Zareth dropped through a ceiling vent behind the enemies. Her sisters came through the walls, having cut their way through the ship's armor. The enemies were surrounded before they knew what happened. "Surprise," Zareth said. The fight was over in seconds. Later, as they flew back to Earth, Jake sat next to Zareth in the pilot's seat. She was teaching him how to read the navigation controls. "You have become a true warrior, Jake," she said. "Not with weapons, but with your mind." "And you've become more than just a fighter," Jake replied. "You learned to trust plans over pure strength." Zareth was quiet for a moment. "The pairing program was wise to match us. We make each other better. Is that enough for you? Being with someone who fixes machines instead of conquering planets?" Zareth looked at him with her glowing eyes. "Jake, you helped save the peace between worlds. You led warriors into battle using courage and intelligence. What more could any fighter want in a mate?" Jake felt warm inside. "So we're really doing this? Being partners?" "We already are partners," Zareth said. "The question is, are you ready for our next adventure?" Jake looked out at the stars surrounding their ship. 6 months ago, his biggest worry was whether his air conditioner would break down in summer. Now he was flying through space with the fiercest warrior princess in the galaxy, and it felt completely natural. "What kind of adventure?" he asked. Zareth grinned. "The Galactic Council wants us to help set up pairing programs with species that have never worked with humans before. Some of them make my people look peaceful." Jake laughed. "Bring it on." As Earth grew larger in their view screen, Jake thought about how much his life had changed. He still fixed machines for work, but now he also helped maintain peace between worlds. Zareth still trained for combat every morning, but now she also learned human engineering techniques. His friends had changed too. Alex was growing alien plants that could feed entire cities. Ben was designing computers that combined human creativity with alien logic. Carlos was teaching meditation to warrior species across the galaxy. None of them had gotten the quiet, peaceful alien mates they expected, but they had all gotten exactly what they needed, partners who challenged them to become more than they ever thought possible. Jake looked at Zareth and smiled. Everyone else might have gotten normal mates, but normal was overrated anyway.